good evening and welcome to this edition of the Islandstats Sports Show. It's Wednesday, October 28th, the eve of the Bermuda Golf PGA Championships that will get underway tomorrow morning at the Port Royal Golf Course. Jay, also going on the waters of Bermuda is the Gold Cup, and they had the Repechade event today. And of course, over the weekend, or on Sunday and Monday, we had the World Rugby Tens. Those are the international events, but we also had a ton of local events that we continue to keep an eye on week in and week out, and we don't want to kind of leave them out just because we have these international events, because they'll come and go and the locals will still be around. But first of all, good evening, and how was your weekend of sports?
Man, I've been tuned in near and far. Obviously, with the international sports, you're talking about international sports, the IPL. Once again, I'm locked in. The World Series. Well, congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers. So that's 2 LA teams.
And they got Corona over there?
Well,
nobody wants to go near them, so they're letting them win championships.
I believe the game was in I believe they did it in Texas. But man, it's But just overall, man, I'm glad that you're hearing a lot more sports getting back to playing, and that's even though who would ever thought that we would see these games or have these games without any fans, and now that's almost becoming, I hate to say it, a norm.
Yeah. Actually, earlier today, your English Premier Division team kind of put out something that they're a bit upset with, obviously, the British government, because they had initially said that October 1st, they were going to be allowed fans in. Come just before October 1st, Boris Johnson announced that they're going to put a hold on that for up to 6 months. Manchester United had already reconfigured their stadium to where they can get 23,500 spectators in, socially distanced and everything done, staggered in, staggered out. He laid it all out. But unfortunately, those plans are on hold because they're looking at the amount of money that's being lost. And of course, the UK government have put in a sports bailout, but football was not included.
That was probably the most surprising thing, period, because we know how precious, how precious football is to the UK. But in saying that, it's I mentioned in the last year, I know when the financials came out for Manchester United a couple of weeks ago, they stated that they're losing $4 to $5 million per game at Old Trafford. Now, just think of that. You've also got to think of the major competitions, Europa, the Champions League, and all that. Is that money going to be the same? Because is that reliant on revenue coming off a gate? Obviously, they have TV money, but obviously they're reliant on coming off a gate. And then and I keep saying this, to put all these protocols and all these different things in place comes with a cost. So, we touched on it, how it's going to affect the players on the field, but off the field mentally, and we definitely say how it's going to affect the players whose contracts are up.
Right.
Or if some of these contracts, some of these clubs are going to these players who probably have about 2 or 3 years left on their contract, looking to renegotiate.
Yeah, and that's going to be a problem. I mean, talking to a few of the PGA administrators up at the Port Royal Golf Course earlier today, and of course yesterday, some of the talks. Obviously, they're glad to be in Bermuda due to our level of spread of corona. It's been under control, but the fact that they're happy that the government has put so many stringent requirements on them, because it makes them reminds them that, hey, we're still dealing with this pandemic, although we're allowed to get back out and do something that we love to do and make money. We have to remember that that this pandemic still exists, and it could actually all turn itself around and become, something even more major on the island like it is somewhere else. So they're glad to be here, and they're glad that they one guy had said to me, the guy in charge of the media said, you know what, when he was asked to come to Bermuda, his fiance was questioning him as to why. So he actually went online to the government's website and showed her why he would rather come to Bermuda than stay where they are in Houston. He said, look at their numbers, look at their death rate, look at what the protocols are, look at all of this. We don't have a quarter of what they're asking us to do here, so I'm going to go to Bermuda. So here he is, and clearly he said, from the time he landed to when we were talking yesterday, he was really, really pleased with how everything is being managed and done in accordance to how the government has laid out for their safety, not just our safety, but for their safety as well. Because remember, after this tournament, they moved somewhere else.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, Earl, I mean, just a personal note, there's a family that's staying next to me in Airbnb.
Mm-hmm.
When I say a family, the mother, the father, 2 young kids, 1 baby, the grandparents, actually I think 2 sets of grandparents, all staying in the complex because of COVID, where they are. They're here for 3.5 months.
Wow.
Now it's still there by their driver. It's like, yeah, I've got a nice gig wherever they just want me.
Right.
Okay, well, that's he says, yeah, well, he says, yeah, it's costly, but for where they are, the parents obviously have some underlying issues, and they just felt to be safer.
Right.
Family and everything. And if you hear some of these celebrities, I've heard Jamie Foxx talking about he has like 20-something people in his compound, because at first it started out with the immediate, and then it got but he would rather have everybody there safe and create a little bubble. So you hear these stories, and we're doing such a great job here. And obviously I expect probably more competitions if possible, because I remember the tennis that got canceled.
Right.
I would be surprised if that's looked back into, because obviously you're seeing tennis being played around the world now, so in a bubble form.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if some of those events that were canceled this year are definitely back on the table at the end of this year or early part of next year.
Yeah, definitely. I know people will want to get those international events up and running, if it could remain just that in that kind of space.
Any update on the Olympics though? Because we're sitting here, it's coming fast and furious.
Well, earlier today, only because I'm part of the media that will be attending the Olympics. We're getting daily briefings. They've secured a medical house in the village for the athletes where I will be staying. They secured a medical house. We will be tested each day. We will have to go through so many stringent things just to get there. And then, of course, we will have our protocols that would need to be followed. And I'm just talking about the media. And I'm pretty sure the athletes will have the same sets of requirements. They usually have in other places when there's been the Olympics or major festivals, they would have an athletes village. I doubt if they'll even open that. When you finish your competition, you probably have to leave. Now, if you've made arrangements with your country to stay, if you leave because a lot of people like to do tours, because you probably never get to. It'll be the next time you get to Tokyo if you're from Bermuda. So anytime you go outside, what they consider the bubble, because remember, they'll have buses and transportation for the athletes and the media to go from your hotel to the stadium, whatever stadium it is, and back. You step outside of that, and I think the whole process for you must start all over again. And I know nobody's going to want to do that. So it's going to be very stringent, very straightforward. I mean, I look at it like this: I'm going for the games. I'm going for the games, and that's how it's been for me the entire time that I've been to these things.
Now, I'm always trying to say, Earl, come on now. Come on. I be in a suitcase, but this is one trip, mate. See me get back. I mean, I'll probably have your biohazard suit on. I have about 3 masks on, your face shield. I'm gloved out. I'm got stuff in my boots. I am not.
You won't need a shower because you'll be soaking wet from sweating inside that suit.
I don't care. I ain't no breeze. I'm gonna have to somehow funnel some type of air in me because I'm not being exposed. I tell you.
But I mean, they're trying their best to do whatever they can to ensure the safety of the people, and I know they're doing air quality tests in the facilities and so forth. Funny enough, this past weekend, the swimming facility was reopened. They've done a COVID test type meet with allowing spectators in to do the protocol. So what they're trying to do now is kind of simulate how many people they'll allow in, and they're doing it really, really early for them. So when the games come around, I guess, and it's also trying to reassure the athletes that they're doing all that they can to make sure that they will be safe come game time.
And when is the date for that?
July 20-something. Yeah. July 23rd or 24th. Yeah. To September 6th, 7th, something like that. And then the Paralympics start 2 weeks later. So it'll be an exciting time.
You're going to miss that?
Oh, see, yeah. Well, I get to miss St. George's beating Somerset in 2021 in the East End. And you can laugh all you want, but eventually, it's going to happen.
This is the best chance of this.
Only 2 teams playing, brother. Only 2 teams playing.
Just wish I chance this year, 2020.
No. I tell you, 2021 we'll win it. I tell you, 2021 we'll win it.
Okay. Then you woke up.
Huh?
Then you woke up.
I tell you. Well, Jay, we have to say thank you to Lindo's group of companies who have come on as a sponsor. We're going to take a commercial break, and of course, it's Lindo's.
Humans have been harvesting the tuna fish for over 2,000 years, probably first from the Mediterranean, casting nets from the shore. The ever-increasing demand for tuna reached its highest point in the early 1950s, and the catch statistics reflected a saddening downward turn in the tuna population. Modern seafood companies like Crown Prince have responded by driving initiatives which increase sustainability of the schools of one of the world's favorite fish. Try Crown Prince albacore tuna in water. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
And Lindo's will be with us for quite some time, as they have signed on as a sponsor for this particular show. And I want to thank them for having the trust of this show and Islandstats as well to come on board. Joining us in a few minutes will be Dwayne Dickinson. Dwayne has been the National Bermuda Football Association's medic for national teams, male, female, youth, everyone. He's going to be talking a little bit about the importance of massaging. He's got some oils out as well. And then also joining us is going to be later on in the show, Justin Donovan, who signed for Solihull just yesterday. Funny enough, he played for Darlington over the weekend. Help him get through the FA Cup. They got drawn and he got soiled. So
that's the business.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. But actually, he ends up going, I believe, up two divisions to this division. So just want to talk to him about how he feels about the move. Obviously, Darlington gave him a start, which everybody wants to thank that first club that really gives you, that has the faith in you, and then you're on show for everyone else. So, if you look at it, the weekend that we had our UK and European footballers, we had Milan Butterfield, score the equalizer on Saturday, and then scored the deciding sudden death penalty to help Chesterfield advance to the FA Cup proper. Last night, Cole Hall scored 2 goals to come help his team come back from behind to draw 3-3. You know, you're down 3-0 at the half, and then you turn around and score 3 goals coming off the bench, and they made 3 changes at the half, and those 3 changes worked out because he was able to score the second and the third goals to help his team come back.
Hold on. That's what you start to think. The coach put out a bad team.
The coach put out a bad team?
Yeah.
Well, I think he was trying to save guys because they played on the weekend as well.
We'll talk about that another time. I'm always of the mindset if I'd rather have my player go for 60 and then pull him. Give me your best 60.
Right.
If you're gonna be the team, I'm gonna need you to go.
Right. Okay. I mean, the manager, you have to manage so many different things.
He has to manage. I understand.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't have all the particulars, but
right. Which I mean, we can all surmise how things should have gone, would have gone, could have gone. You know, but he's in that position of trust and has worked hard to get in that position. So, you know, I would
love to hear what he would say about the team selection that day. That's all. Right.
Also, last night, Norrie Scott was an unused sub as his Hastings teammates defeated Whitehawk 2-1. Janai Butterfield Steed, his Kendalltown Football Club teammates, fought back from 2-0 down to draw 2-2. Tristan Hall is playing over in Denmark. His team went down 4-0. Kashayla Birch Waldron, who plays for the London City Lions development team, they won their reserve match 5-0. And Milan Butterfield, as I said earlier, he was part of the Chesterfield team that advanced to the Emirates FA Cup. And they were drawn against Rochdale, and they will play their match over the weekend of November 7th. So next weekend, he'll be in form or in line to play in the FA Cup. Now, I'll have it next week because I remember seeing an article where it said once you make the tournament, how much money you get if you advance, and how much money you get if you ball out in the first round. Both are substantial. So the team, not only are you playing for the win, you're probably playing for, you know, your salary and somebody else's salary too. So, you know, all that type of things. And when you're in the lower leagues, you play for incentives. And I think that's where, and I think when we were earlier talking about it, that's the challenge that some of these players will have when the club's not making money.
That, I don't know if you know, Earl, but college football in the United States, especially early part of the season when you have a lot of these teams play out of division teams, very small schools. That is the benefit of a smaller school playing these larger schools. They know they're going to probably get beaten 50-0 or 60-0, but the money that comes into play that this school will get just for getting beat up on.
Yep.
The players are just looking for the exposure, and the schools are looking for the money.
Right. That's why back in the day, everybody wanted to play at Chapel Hill.
Yes.
And they wanted it on a Sunday on television because they knew then it was pure money.
They could
lose. I didn't care. You could have beat me
90-20. Don't care.
Yeah, you could beat me 100-2. It don't make a difference. Yeah. So as stated, we were going to be joined by Dwayne Dickinson. Good day, sir.
Hey. Good day, sir. Hey, Juggler. Hey. How you guys doing, man?
Okay, all is well. Well, we were talking earlier about, you've been involved with the Bermuda Football Association as the team medic and manager of all sorts of things. But of late, you've been working on products of helping people, healing of sorts, massages, and your oils. Take us through how the oils part came about.
Well, the oils part came about. My grandmother brought me up, and she had a saying that God didn't make her body to be a medicine cabinet. So I can remember when my little cousins were teething, she'll get the spice leaf, ground it up, and rub the spice leaf on the gums. We had a fever. She used the match me if you can leaves and put on your chest and your back, break fevers. When we had colds, she made her own cough medicine, cut up onions and brown sugar and garlic. It tastes terrible, but it worked like buckless. But that's how I got started. I was always, I guess you could say, a natural guy. Even now, I have a big bottle home now with match if you can leaves and bay rum, and I still use it. Still use it day to day, not just for football, but also for some of my senior clients and other sportsmen and sportswomen as well.
Yeah, you spread yourself around by opening yourself up to do massages, especially. You work on, like I said, the national teams. You work with Robin Hood, but you also started your own business of doing it as well.
Yes.
But when you look at the years of services of what you've been able to accomplish and where it has taken you, how would you advise somebody else, a young person, to try to sort of lean towards getting involved in that aspect of the sport, because it takes everybody to make a team, and you're part of a team.
What happens with I would advise them, be open. I've talked to a few even senior women that's looking to go into that field, and especially when you're overseas and you're studying that field of physiotherapy and stuff like that. Stay out there, get the experience. You can be a physio for baseball, basketball, running, track, whatever. But you got to be open, and at the end of the day, for me, and like I told them, old school still works. That match if you can still works. That root bar, all that stuff still works. And if it wasn't for that oil stuff, you wouldn't have all this, how can I put it, man-made stuff today.
Well, they can't find match me if you can't leaves outside of some places like in the States.
Well, it's funny because I had an experience about 3 years ago. The under-20 women were playing Jamaica and Curacao and Bermuda. And I'll not forget, it was a Saturday night. We're staying at Grotto Bay, and I had to pick some leads, had to wrap up a few of my girls because we were actually playing Jamaica that Sunday. Mm-hmm. And I was with the Jamaican doctor and physio, and they says, "Coach Dickey, man, what that?" So I explained to him what it does. And so she asked me, can you take it with you when you travel? I said, no, because it's a blend. So she says, have you ever thought about turning it into an oil? But I'm half white. I went red, pink, purple, blue. My head was thinking. So I've done it. But the funniest part about it, a lot of people don't know this. She says, well, would you mind strapping up two of my girls? And for me, it's about football. I mean, my animals tomorrow, but of course, well, one of the girls I strapped up scored the winner. They did but that's life. But what I've done, I mean, I've been involved for over like 35 years, and where the places I've been and where it's taken me, it's unbelievable. And like I tell people, for me, this is just an outlet that I enjoy. And I tell people, we all need an outlet. Some people do drugs, some people drink, some people do this, but you need an outlet to get from all the ups and downs and the turmoils and uncertainties in this world. And when I'm in football, when I'm up here, I'm in my own world, bro. I have no worries, no problems. I ain't got no bills to pay. But once that's all finished,
reality's back in check.
So I like I said, I enjoy it. And at the end of the day, for me, it's not about football; it's about relationships. And I look at the amount of people I've worked with. My first one, Sean Goodall. I was his physio when he's in the under-19s. And look at Sean Goodall today. I look at Dale Lee, Trey Mean, Zico. They was in the under-12s when Clyde Bass had his first tournament, and now then the senior man scene. So I think I had a little part in their professional career in football and even in the in the life in general.
Yeah, like I said, everybody plays a part in the team. Juggler, anything?
Well, first things first, I'm knowing this gentleman for a long time.
Long time.
Walk tall, as they will say.
That's where I started. Walk Tall United.
Walk tall. So
you guys used to walk short, man. You don't have a walk tall.
There's a lumber company back there. Tell him, Dickie, bro. Tell him.
Hey, y'all made Juggler there, and another good friend, go bless his soul, Michael Renner, and Kyle Lightbourne. They talk about the fabulous three was Dean Miners, Clay Smith, and Sean Gerder. This was the remarkable three.
There's what's up to no good, though.
I'm talking about on the field.
Look. He can't even deny it.
Hey, when they came on the field, bro. But I'm near Juggler for a long time. Yeah.
So I got two questions for you.
Yeah.
So obviously, you know my story. For a person that's you're going to do physiotherapy, especially for massages, can you tell us the difference for folks who are getting massages for just stress relief, or for a person who's trying to recover from a game or getting ready for a game? What's the type of areas, or you're trying to really concentrate between the two people?
It's funny you asked that question because I've also started. Like Earl said, I'm with Robin Hood, but I also help Rangers out. And now what I've done, I had a player today that came to me. They're actually playing tonight. And tonight, especially for that player, it's just a light massage, just to loosen up the quads, the hammers. You don't want nothing too intense or deep tissue, because he got on his bike, go home, he getting sleep. So basically, the massage for today is just to jumpstart. There's hammers, there's the tightness. And this player played Sunday and is playing tonight, and then playing Sunday again. So it's just to loosen everything up and stuff like that. For stress relief, like I tell people, a lot of times once you have inner problems, it comes out outside of the body. So a lot of times, there are some clients that I've talked to, and they have internal issues. So if I'm massaging them, it's really not doing anything, because you have to deal with that internal part first. But from the sports aspect, that's the difference. Now, deep tissue is like, let's say in a tournament, football tournament, you got 4 or 5 games in a week's period. After that tournament, you'll probably need a deep tissue. You need your recovery. You need your ice baths, and a lot of guys are scared of those ice baths, but they work it. But I try to encourage my players, Robin Hood Academy, go in the water, salt water, and don't go to the beach. You got to go off the rock somewhere and immerse your whole body in that salt water, and you'll be surprised the toxins that come out of your body. And man, you be feeling like you're walking on air when you come out of that water. It works. It works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so question number 2. Let me get into question number 2. So you talked about this holistic. Some of our, you mentioned with me canned leaves and all this. So I'll give you a story. So you mentioned one person earlier, Kyle Lightbourne. So let me give you a story about Kyle Lightbourne. So I believe it was after some match we had, and he had a problem with his knee. So his granny at the time, she had to be at least 80-odd years old. Said spray some WD-40 on it.
Oh, yeah, that works.
So we, as 15-year-old, well, he was at the time 16, I was 14, around about that. Spray who? And it worked.
It does. Now, I can give you another story.
But are you still using WD-40 on it?
No.
I do.
It's funny. It's funny you say that, because I've learned a lot from Papa Darrell. I mean, I'm sure you guys know Papa Darrell. I learned a lot from him, and the great Iron Horse.
Iron Horse, yeah.
And I've seen personally Papa Darrell bring out that WD-40 with the red light, the heat lamp, and put it on your legs, put it wherever it is. I'm seeing Iron Horse use it. I have used it, but today, it's about people's concerned about chemicals and stuff like that there. So, but we have other natural things that we can use that is just as bad, or just as good, or even better than the WD-40. But it worked. It worked. That's why they call it a lube. So yeah, it works. Trust me.
Ask God, he'll tell you.
Yeah, it works. No, it works.
Trust
It
me,
works.
I have at times used WD-40. When there's nothing else in the bag, you get the can out, mate, and you do it to the joints, and you will feel so much better. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it works.
All right. Well, Dickie, if anybody wanted to get in touch with you, how would they do so?
Well, right now, I have flyers, but they can call me on my cell. My cell is 595-0508, or they can email me at Dwayne, Duane .Dickinson, DICKINSON @yahoo.com. And yeah, my motto is I'm too blessed to be stressed. So stress kills, and even in sports. And I was telling someone today, the players of yesteryear and today are completely different. I mean, the players back in the day, they did the extras, they got their massages when their teams were in training, they went for a run. Players today, you don't see that. You may see a few. So that's why today I've never done so much damn massages and stuff in my life, because back in the day I didn't have to, because players took care of themselves.
Yeah.
And today players expect the physio and the medic to do miracles, and that's why I try to encourage the players, you have to do your part as well.
Right.
And that's important for you. If you want to be a better player, not picking up this little knocks here and there and stretching properly. If you don't do that, you're gonna be seeing the physio a lot.
All right.
Or sitting out for a long period of time.
All right, Dickie. I'm gonna bring somebody else in so you can say hello before you go. Hold on.
All right. Okay.
Well, Justin Donovan, welcome.
Good evening. Good evening.
All is well.
Everything's good. Can't complain.
I'm got your medic here. So we just had him talking about.
Hey,
himself.
Justin, what's up, bro?
Good.
Yes.
All right.
Hey, congratulations on your new move to your new club, man. Wish you all the best, and keep hitting the back of that net, bro.
Will do.
Yeah,
all right.
Keep hitting that net.
Well, gentlemen, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be talking with Justin Donovan on his move to Solihull.
This month, we're featuring Evian Natural Spring Water, brought to us by John Barrett & Son. Evian water is among the best-known bottled mineral waters on the market and was one of the first, originating at sources on the south shore of Lake Geneva almost 2 centuries ago. It's good to know also that Evian has instituted extensive water management projects on 3 continents, working as the Evian Water Protection Institute to help address one of the world's major ongoing issues: access to safe, abundant water for all. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
Well, as promised, we will have Justin Donovan, who just yesterday signed with a new club. First of all, good evening. Again, good evening, Justin. I know it's kind of late, but I do want to thank you for joining us. When did you realize talks about a move had started? I believe your mic is muted. And unmute it. Try it now. Juggler, you can't hear him, can you?
No.
You can hear me, Justin? Because we heard you the first time. Try it. I can see you, but we can't hear you. Let me see something. Okay, try it. Say something.
You hear me now?
We can hear you now. Okay. All right.
There we go.
Again, I'll ask that question.
So originally, so originally, Sully was, interested way back in January. They wanted to try to do something then. Didn't quite work out. It wasn't, I guess, positive on both clubs, and Darlington wasn't interested in that move then. And then they came for me in the summer again. That didn't quite work out. And then this time around, third time's a charm, they came back and finally, came to an agreement and got things done. I was notified probably almost 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago, Friday, I was notified by my agent about them coming in for a serious bid again. And at this point, I'm like, okay, like just let me know how it goes. Like I don't know.
You
I've
get your
heard this
hopes up
one
high.
before. Yeah, I've heard this one before, so I'll just see how it plays out.
Right,
But
right.
thankfully, something got over the line, and I spent last week still with Darlington, training and stuff like that, even though things had been pretty much agreed. Um, and I trained with Darlington, and I played on Saturday in my last match, which I knew was my last match, but most people didn't, besides my teammates. And then on the weekend, I made the move down. So it's happened pretty quickly in the last 10 days, I would say. But like I said, I'm happy to be here now. So
Right. How far apart are the two clubs? Living
probably
wise.
about 3 hours. 3 hours. Yeah.
Oh, so you've actually moved closer to the new club?
Yes. Because I was up. Yeah, so where I was before, when I was playing for Darlington, I was near like Middlesbrough, and now I'm like in Birmingham. So it's quite the distance between the two places. So.
Right. And how the new club, is that in a higher division than the one that Darlington was in?
Yeah, it's in the league above.
Okay. So you're up for a new challenge. Obviously, you had a chance to see them play last night. What do you think of their style of play, and where do you think you fit in to assist?
Yeah, it was a joy to watch them play again last night. I watched them play last weekend as well, and I played against them twice last season, so I've seen quite a bit of them. Last season, they were a lot different of a team in terms of playing style and things like that. But now the new manager there, or here rather, has implemented a rather attractive style of football, and something that really intrigued me, and I'm looking forward to trying to mix into the squad and make an impact where I can. I can see myself as one of the forward players, one of the front three. So wherever the gaffer thinks I would be the most effective, I'm willing to go have a hit at it. So it was definitely nice to see him play, and they played last night against a good Stockport team who's looking for promotion, as they always are. It's a big club, so it was a good point away from home, and then we're just looking forward to Saturday away again at Maidenhead, I believe. So hopefully we can pick up 3 points there. But other than that, Solihull's had a great start to the season, picking up 11 points, I think, already out of the first six or so games. So I'm really excited, given the quality of football, the quality of footballers on the team, and to really, like I said, gel into the group.
Right. When you look at it back at your Darlington career, obviously you've played in several positions and excelled in all the positions that they've utilized you in. That type of role that you've played there, how has that helped you grow as a footballer?
Yeah, I'll say initially, I found myself playing, one game I played up top. I remember 1 or 2 games I played up top. Obviously, I was playing out wide most of the time, and then I think 1 or 2 games I found myself in more of a fullback role, which I haven't played in a few years now. Seriously. So definitely in those early days, it was, I was used more of as coming off the bench and being an impact, and in some instances being like a utility type player, in very few instances. But that's definitely helped, my game in terms of understanding the game from different views. Not only just in a attacking sense, but also in a defending sense. And as we talked about last time, I said, whenever I'm on the field, I want to work hard and give it my everything. So no matter what position I'm in, I'm gonna put a shift in and do what I need to do to help the team win. So it's definitely this past year of Donovan has definitely helped me grow as a footballer, and as a person, and helped me get in the position I am now to take advantage of this new opportunity I have in the league above.
Yeah. What was one of the lasting memories you have of your time at Darlington? What stands out the most for you?
I think almost every player who was there last year and every fan who witnessed it would definitely say the FA Cup, the first round FA Cup game against Walsall, the first game, because there was a replay where we drew 2-2 at their place. We went there, obviously being underdogs, 2 leagues below them. They were in League Two. They weren't doing as well as they would have liked at the time, but we went in and we were trying to take advantage of that and just go out there and have no fear really and just play our football. We went out there and the first half we were honestly, I think, playing them off the park, and that showed with us getting up 1-0. And I started on the bench that game, and I came on later in the second half. But just when we scored that equalizer, they ended up getting up 2-1. And then we were like, oh no, and then we went a man down. So we were playing 10 man for the last 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. So we were like, oh man, this it seems like a big mountain to climb now. But we hung in there. We got a free kick late on. I think, pretty much the last 2 minutes of stoppage time or something like that. And Asaji Bascom took the free kick. And it actually came right around the defense.
Right.
And I was the first person in line there, and it literally just skitched past me. I completely missed the ball. And it would have been a perfect ending to the game. Asaji giving an assist for me to score the equalizing goal. But thankfully, I had a teammate at the back post, Joe Wheatley, who was able to get on the end of it and make it 2-2. And the 1,200 Darlington fans who were all on that end of the pitch, ironically, they went wild. Like, it was honestly one of the best things I've seen in football, and one of the best things I've experienced in football ever. Just the sheer ecstasy that was going on at the time. The fans were rushing the field. The game wasn't over yet, mind you. Fans on the field. Stewards are trying to push everybody back, and it was just, like I said, it was indescribable. I can't really put into too many more words how it felt. Honestly, I think that was the pinnacle, as a lot of fans will tell you, of last season.
As you're describing that, I'm actually remembering the video of the whole entire environment where I thought the defender thought that the goalkeeper was going to get the ball, the way it bounced across him, and he just let it go. And then to see you, first person there, I said, oh man, he's missed that. And then, like you said, the guy at the back post. But everybody's motion was towards the goal. So obviously his momentum took him to the crowd, and obviously the crowd's coming to him. And then people are, like you said, just jumping over the railing and onto the field. And you'd have thought you won the FA Cup.
Yeah, literally. And like I said, it's the magic of the FA Cup. Things happen that, honestly, it's every round. There's upsets that happen that you would never think would transpire. And I think that was one of those moments. And that's something I will literally always remember. Obviously, I wish I would have scored the goal, but to be, part of it, be on the field, to experience that, and to be in that team that so many fans will remember, because I don't think Dom's not had an FA Cup run like that in a few years before. So it's just nice to be a part of that memory and to help, Darlington fans remember us in a good light from last season. So, I mean, they did win the replay at our place 1-0, but nevertheless, I think we done pretty well to get ourselves in that position and get a game televised at our place. So that was, I think that was definitely the best moment of my season, yet alone my football career. So,
Jay?
Yeah, Justin, welcome back. Two-part question for you too. Coming from your former team, Darlington, they were, even though early in the season, still early days, but they were hovering close to the bottom of the table. Now going to a team who's sort of trying to make the way on top of the table. What's the different mindset as a player coming from a team that was struggling, to get things together as a team, now going into a team who looks like who's trying to go for promotion?
Very interesting question. I wouldn't say we were necessarily struggling. I just think, it a weird. I think we were struggling to just get results. You know what I mean? Like those two league games where against Kidderminster we were up 1-0, and we just allowed them to just feel their way back into the game. And I think 2 out of the 3 finishes were great finishes on their behalf, to be fair. But there were things that led up to them that could have easily prevented those goals. So I think there was just there's been little lapses of concentration within, on the field, not from any one individual per se, but just as a collective unit, that has not allowed us to really get the results we would have wanted. Against Fylde in the opening game away from home, that would have been a great point away from home, I think, against a team that just got relegated from the League Above in the National League Conference, that's looking to get right back up there. They have a very good team, and I think for us to defend and play as well as we did, to not come away from their place without a point is kind of heartbreaking. And the goal they had was, again, a very good finish, but there were things I think that led up to it that could have kind of prevented that from happening. So I wouldn't say as a team we're struggling to play good football, or as a team Donaldson was struggling to play good football or are. I think it's just little tiny moments that have let games slip away from us. So I think, like you said, it's early in the season, so plenty of time to make up lost ground, and I know they will. And now making the transition to a team that has started very well. It's a hard thing, because it's like, would you rather be in a position where there's a lot of room to improve, or you rather be in a position where you're trying to keep something going? I think they're both very hard positions to be in, but it's now it's a thing, whereas us as Solihull need to find a way to keep this form going as long as possible, and stay up in the playoffs, stay up in those promotion areas, and at the end of the season, hopefully, these early points that have been gained, and a point away from home against a good side, hopefully that in the end will make a difference. So it's definitely, there are 2 different situations, but I think both teams are in a position where they have.
And I see they also brought in another striker too. So 2 signings for Solihull.
Yeah. I think like I said, we're really trying to make a push to be promoted, because I think we have the players. There's a lot of good footballers on this team, a good manager, a good background staff. All the pieces are there, I think, for us to stay up in the top 5 and get promoted at the end of the season. So it's a lot of things being put in place. I think it's a lot going for the club, a lot of investment, like I said before, into the club to try to make us finish as high as possible.
So who taxed who first? Dale taxed you, or you taxed him, telling him you got to wait for Christmas? Boxing Day in New Year's.
Well, ironically enough, right, is that even though I won't be playing Dale on Boxing Day and right after New Year's, now Solihull's playing Chesterfield on Boxing Day and New Year's. So I went from playing Dale that week to now I'm playing Milan that week. So I think as soon as I saw that, I said, wow, what are the odds of that, right? So
the stars have aligned themselves.
Yeah. And now I can actually put a crunch and tackle in on somebody on the field. You know what I mean? So it's definitely, it's exciting to see that, I have an opportunity to play against, a fellow teammate. So.
Just because you brought up his name, he had a remarkable weekend as well, scoring the equalizer for Chesterfield and sending the game into extra time in the FA. And then it was 4-4 after the 5 penalties, and then went to sudden death, and he actually scored the winner for them to advance. So he had a weekend to remember. So I guess he'll be telling you he scored more goals than you in that division. You need to play catch up.
Yeah, that's right. We'll see once May comes. Who's on top of that? That's dead. So I'm not worried about him right now. Not
All
worried
right.
about
Now,
him.
again, congratulations. We look forward to you getting on the pitch of your new club, stamping your authority in a position of making sure that they decided the right thing to do was to third time a charm to get you in that Somerset Eagles color of yellow and blue. So,
Well, the away strip's red, so I guess I got a little
oh boy.
Well
little
done.
redemption.
Well, you're getting closer to the light blue and dark blue. Don't worry about it. Every day.
Yeah. I hope not.
All right. Well, you all the best for the remainder of the season. We'll keep a tab on you and keep everyone updated on your progress. And we wish you all the best. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Good luck.
All right. We'll be back with more of the Islandstats Sports Show after this message from our sponsor.
We're constantly impressed by the innovative work of the whole food industry seeking new sources for gluten-free versions of our favorite traditional foods. Miracle Noodle makes authentic, delicious pastas from the konjac plant traditionally used in Japan for the manufacture of grain-free noodles. And they've diversified, offering miscellaneous good eats for the gluten-sensitive. We're featuring Miracle Noodle spinach angel hair and 95% organic fettuccine noodles, shirataki rice, pho and pad thai ready-to-eat meals, and chicken and beef bone broth. Lindo's. Why go anyplace else?
Well, one thing's for sure, Jay, whenever we get a chance to talk to these guys who are overseas, I'm always impressed with how much they've improved their ability to speak publicly. And Justin amplifies that every time we speak to him. The confidence, when Bermudian footballers or even Bermudian athletes, when they first start out, you can tell how nervous they are to talk about themselves. But through time and just experiences, it grows on them. And I've always been impressed with how that particular young man handles himself when it comes down to talking about progress and even some rough times in a season.
Yeah, definitely. Earl, but I tell you, Earl, it's this generation, the times we're living in. I know back in our days, a lot of times we probably ran away from the camera, But I've watched, just even on social media, great job from Maceo Deal going around. You're seeing with the show, interviewing the coaches now. You're seeing some of these clubs interviewing their own players after games, especially the youngsters. And we have talked about this many times. It has to start, with our own clubs. And now you get to hear more and see more of our professionals, because the days of Sean Good and Kyle and these guys, we never really got to see those press conferences, or those interviews and stuff. Obviously, the likes of Islandstats, we get the chance to reach out to these guys and have these conversations with Naki and Milan and the rest of these guys out there. So now, obviously, when you're in that atmosphere and it becomes second nature, it bodes well for the local guys here, and hopefully we can keep it up in both sports. We've seen it happen with cricket, especially this season, a lot more interviews with the captains and coaches. And obviously you see it continuing on with the football season. So with social media, a lot of these players know that that's another avenue where coaches or teams could just be looking at them, whether it's for a competition or whether it's to somebody like Justin go to a new team.
Definitely. Being that you brought up cricket, we saw earlier this week, Delray Rollins has been retained by Southern Braves for the 100.
Yes.
We all know the 100 was due to be played this year, but like many other events, it was postponed due to COVID. And they're looking to reignite it for 2021. They had a period where players could have opted out of their contracts and signed with another club, but it was released earlier this week that Delray has been retained by the Southern Braves for the 2021 season. So we can't wait to see that. 100 balls is a different format. It's a quicker one, so we look forward to more entertainment because he still has the Vitality Blast
Mm-hmm.
with Sussex. He still has the open cricket with Sussex. So this next year will be a year that there will be plenty of cricket for him. And hopefully, after his performances in Bermuda this year, we can see Kamal Leverett get an opportunity to display his talents outside the island and really make a name for himself as well. So hopefully, fingers crossed, something comes up for him.
Yeah, and I mean, what a perfect format for somebody like Kamal. Jeez, it's tailor made for Kamal, really. But no, it's gonna be interesting. Like I said, that's the power. We just talked about the power of media right now. I hate to say this here, but the traditionalists hate it, and I understand why they hate it. I understand, but for the new person coming to watch the game, the new client, or the new person is watching the game, they don't want to sit and watch 3, 4, 5 hours of a game.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So you can have something where it could be done in an hour and a half, 2 hours. That it's like, okay, perfect, and it's action packed.
Mm-hmm.
Man, now, will it develop? No. But once again, we know that going into it. Only for entertainment value. Period. So
that type of style of cricket is for the developed already.
Yes.
You need to develop when you are 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Because nowadays, the forms of the game are changing rapidly for entertainment's sake.
Amazingly, Aaron, I'm just thinking about it now. This style was, or this short format was basically for the Masters.
Yes, that's what it's initially starting out was the Masters.
The Masters, because they couldn't last that long.
Right.
Obviously, it's become good TV. So
the first T20 Classic tournament ever held was right here on our island for the Masters.
Yes,
we saw the likes of the West Indies of the heyday here. We saw the Australians of the heyday. We saw the England of the heyday. We had them all here. South Africa, India. We had it all here.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, like you said, it was tailor-made for those guys because they were getting up in age, and it was a shorter version. But then the ICC looked at it and said, "Hold on, we can make this a competition, a current competition, and it's fast. It could attract sponsors and money." Now look at the IPL. The IPL, those guys are walking around as billboards. They've got commercials going on the screen. They've got all sorts of different things to do outside the game, but at the game.
And then look how many leagues are trying to emulate the IPL.
Yeah. Well, two things. You don't have the quality of players, and you don't have the amount of fans that show up when they are allowed to show up.
Yes.
And you don't have that type of money.
Yes.
Yeah, you can get 100,000 people into a cricket game in India and probably another 20,000 outside.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So, well, Jay, it's been a quick show. I mean, it's an hour going already.
And we need to talk about our local football.
I know, man. Well, you know what? Your Zebras won. My Colts lost.
So I'm looking for the coach of Crossroads.
SOS?
Yes.
Cameron?
Yes.
Cameron don't hide.
I'm sorry, not the coach. The manager.
You mean the president?
The president. Yes, I'm looking for. I've seen the coach. I haven't seen him since Sunday.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for the manager because we've had our
chats.
Yes,
it's right now. It's a struggle.
Yes,
it's a struggle, and come Sunday's do or die. They're at Wellington over against St. George's. It's do or die. They need to win. A draw.
That game is going to be for both teams, though.
For both teams, yes, for both teams.
For both
teams, but more so, I would say there's more so for Crossroads due to the fact that they are struggling in so many areas. St. George's gave up 3 goals. That was the most goals they've given up other than the 1 goal in each other game. Crossroads are constantly giving up goals and has only scored 2.
Well, to be honest with you, Earl, I looked at these stats and, I was via the Islandstats.
Right.
They're not. Both teams are not scoring at all.
Oh, no. But the good thing for St. George's is many teams are not scoring a lot of goals against them.
That's yeah. So they have a little bit of difference.
So if they can get a goal or if they got a second goal, that puts even more pressure on Crossroads because they've only scored 2 goals and that came in 1 game against Village.
But I would see, and that's the thing. I would go with Crossroads on this game because of the proven goal scores that they have. Even though, they've got to start hitting the back of the net sometime.
Well, let's put it like this. Hopefully, whatever they've been doing in training the past few weeks, they don't do it this week. So if they've been having shooting practice, don't give them no shooting practice. Try that rule reverse.
Yeah.
See if you can get in contact with your mate, the manager / president, see what he's got to say. Because I'm pretty sure he's walking around that briefcase right now, mate, up and down.
Yeah, like I said, this week, we talked about it last week, but I think this week is really going to shake the league a bit. You always say the cream rises to the top, so you can probably see the 4 or 5 teams that's going to challenge for the top, and then you're going to see a strong 3 to 4 teams that's going to be hovering down at the bottom of the table. And I believe they might be hovering for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4 teams struggling. As it is right now, it's 4 teams struggling. If St. George's win, that gives them 6 points. There are 3 teams on 7. If Crossroads win, they'll be on 4. St. George's will still be on 3. You still have Devonshire Colts who play Devonshire Cougars. They're on 1. And you have Somerset Eagles who are playing Somerset Trojans on none. The funny thing is 2 of those teams that are on 7 play each other in Rangers and PHC.
Now, you know what, Aaron, and I think, I'm going to say think because I believe the person who arranged these games, they do these games probably once a year or twice a season.
Twice a season, yeah.
Especially in the American side of it. They make a rivalry weekend. And it's something that we have not seen so much in our local media. This is the rivalry weekend. So let's give a quick rundown of the games. If you want to start from the Somerset area.
Well, let's do Saturday night. Saturday night is the crosstown rivalry between North Village and Dandytown. That's at 9 o'clock at BAA.
There you go, rivalry.
And then on Sunday, I believe up at Somerset, it's Somerset Trojans taking on Somerset Eagles.
It will be in Somerset no matter how you look at it.
Right. Yeah, it's at Somerset because the final day of the Grand Slam is, the PGA is and people are parking at White Hill. Yeah. At Southampton Oval, Southampton Rangers will entertain PHC.
Yes.
At the Police Field, it's Devonshire Colts entertaining Devonshire Cougars.
Yes.
And at the Wellington Oval, it's St. George's Colts hosting Crossroads, who play just up the hill at Garrison Field. So, yeah. Definitely. It's rivalry premiership weekend.
Okay, and it's
almost like the weekend that Liverpool play Everton, Manchester City plays Manchester United, Tottenham play Chelsea or Arsenal. Yeah. So there you go.
Yeah, and it's saying that I wouldn't be surprised if you get a couple of draws this weekend,
or even one of those upsets.
But would it be an upset then?
Well, let's put it like this: the one that would probably be an upset would be Somerset Eagles beating Somerset Trojans. And another upset would be Devonshire Colts beating Devonshire Cougars.
Okay.
Compared to the way the 2 teams are playing.
Yeah.
The 4 teams are playing each, So, yeah.
Not going to happen.
Not going to happen? Or another upset would be Crossroads beating St. George's.
That's not an upset. That's a flip a coin if you want to put it. It's interesting, and I'm saying that because we was talking about, and we can end the show with this, but we was talking about before with the COVID situation with teams, leagues opening up having a break, then opening right back up. We're starting to see a good bit of injuries happen in EPL.
Right.
And now some pundits are thinking that they should have waited a little while. Obviously, money dictated that they had to start. The NFL, you're seeing a lot of injuries in NFL. I'm hearing some pundits saying, wish we could have waited a little bit, but we know that money dictated that move. We saw that even in college football, where some divisions said they wasn't playing at all. And all of a sudden,
money.
And coming out this week, we've heard about the NBA looking to start
in December,
just before boxing. We call boxing Christmas Day, and some players are saying, "Well, we just finished," and they are scared about the injuries. And you hear even with the likes of Barcelona, a lot of these teams, and Real Madrid, even in the La Liga, it's just the quick turnaround is hurting these guys. So it's going to be interesting because it's being fueled by the money. And it's going to be interesting. These unions, the player unions, what happens on the next agreement? Because it's going to not only be, obviously, we talked about a short of cash.
Right.
But how much are we sacrificing?
Yeah.
So watch out for. That'll be my take for the weekend. I'm just keeping a quick eye on it.
Yeah. Well, because I've met him, I just want to say a speedy recovery to the FIFA president who was diagnosed with the coronavirus earlier today, Infantino. So hopefully he gets well as soon as possible, and he's back leading world football from the top. So, all right. Have a good night, Jay.
Take care.
Okay.